And good evening to everybody. Thank you for attending my webinar on mindfulness. My name is Olga Manganelli. I am a humanistic integrator, counselor, and a mindfulness facilitator. Today I'm here to talk about mindfulness, what it is, and how it can help our well-being. So, this is the first of three webinars in which I will talk about mindfulness and we will do some meditation together. And I will also talk about my projects and how I created a very powerful technique in which I merge counseling and mindfulness together, and I apply it to my session in menopause, in the education environment, as well as in anxiety and stress situation. So we will talk about it later during these webinars. So just start talking about the origin of mindfulness. So the concept of mindfulness has its roots in the Buddhist tradition, and especially the word mindfulness. It comes. It is its origin in the word sati, which in English can be translated as awareness. So, mindfulness means being aware and fully present in what is happening in the present, so right now. And behaving with awareness also means to avoid incidents, don't miss out any information, and also to go in the right place instead to get off from the bus at the wrong bus stop, for example. And I bet that some of you sometimes are so fully immersed in their thoughts that maybe they keep driving if they are driving a car. As my doctor told me last time, he said that it will be very helpful to be able to be aware, more aware of what we are doing, because sometimes we are so under pressure or stressed and our thoughts are just running in our mind that does not allow us to live in a very peaceful state, let's say in this way. So what's happened at the end with mindfulness is that we know, using mindfulness, we know where we are going, and we are able to make to choose the right direction. So this is very important about mindfulness, because we are all the time running, thinking about the past or what will happen in the future, and we forget that we are living in the present right now. It is there where we need to be. So by practicing mindfulness, what we produce is an increase in our awareness. So what happens also is that we, in this way, we can abandon our judgment. And what happens when we are attached to the judgment, we become stressed and also more anxious. So mindfulness also helps us to go out from the autopilot, which is basically our automatic behavior. So we will become able to replace the autopilot with a more conscious behavior and functional skills. For example, I bet that some of you at this moment are thinking about something else at the same time they are following this webinar. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened today, or maybe you're just checking on your WhatsApp, and so you're quite distracted and you're not focused properly on what we are talking about at the moment. So this is normal. The research made from our university say that the human mind is distracted uh, for the 46.9%, and people are more happy when they are fully focused on something, so they are living in the present, they are not distracted. So we can say that we are multitasking and we are connected all the time with social media. And uh, so, for instance, whilst we are eating, we are watching television, or whilst we are eating, we are watching television, we are talking to someone else. But basically, we are distracted because we are not doing any of these things um, in being connected, fully connected with ourselves or the other person. So I can suggest to you to do something, and maybe it can help you to understand the difference on being disconnected to the world and to yourself, and um, and to and then to be connected with yourself is just very uh, nice exercise to do, and I've done by myself. And to be honest, I found it at the beginning quite difficult. So for this reason, I would tell you to start doing like uh, 15 minutes of disconnection from any social media, and then to increase the time until doing 1 hour of disconnection from the social media. Usually I do it in the morning, and when you do it, you have to enjoy everything you're doing at the time, and to uh, to stay in contact with your sensation. For instance, if you're having your breakfast, or even if you're just drinking your coffee, do it by tasting every sip of your coffee. Or if you're sharing time with someone else and you're sitting at the table, just sharing your time, listen to the person, observe the environment around, the colors, the light, and take your time by being connected with everything is happening to you. Everything is around your senses. So when we say that we are multitasking, we are basically um, mm, losing the uh, big amount of productivity of our work. We think that we are producing more. Actually, statistics say that the 40% of our work is missed. We are less productive, and everything leads to uh, a dispersion of concentration and energy. So we need to take into account that doing a lot of things at the same time, even if we feel that we have to do it, for example, when we are working, we are not fully productive, and is no good for our mental health and well-being. So what I will say now is to do a quite quick meditation altogether. So I will suggest to you just to sit comfortably. If you're on a chair, you can just put your back against as a support against your chair, your feet on the floor, and you can close your eyes now and just have a very deep breath. Inhale and then exhale. So now I want to ask you to stop everything and reflect. And my question is, how much attention do you have for you here and now? How much do you actually appreciate the present moment? Just reflect about it. And if you have your pen and your notebook with you, use it to write down your feeling and your sensation. So reflect on how much attention do you have on the here and now, and how much do you actually appreciate the present moment. So it's very important to be in contact with yourself. So if you're ready now, I will go on with a mindfulness webinar, and I think that now we are in a different state of mind, because these few seconds that we dedicated to our reflection has helped us to understand how mindfulness works. So mindfulness helps us to live in the present, and it helps us to live with no judgment. Having judgment is not very helpful in terms of stress and anxiety. And once we can cultivate the no judgment, we can also talk about accepting and be patient. So what I'm talking about is the 7 pillars of mindfulness. So I'm talking now about these 3 things: no judgment, acceptance, and patience, because I think that these one are quite important in terms on how they can affect our life. So no judgment, not having a judgment, it means to not judge ourselves when we do something. For example, when we make a mistake, we used to blame ourselves about it, and it does not help us in terms of feeling relaxed, but it just increase our frustration and anxiety about things, about doing things. So what we have to do is to disattach from the judgment and just being observer of our experience. Don't suppress it, but just suspend it and being a neutral witness of what is happening. Being patient, which is the other pillars of mindfulness, means to understand that things have their natural uh, time of maturity. So what we need to do is to develop patience towards our body and mind. This is, don't get irritated if it takes a while to get a result. So how patience work in mindfulness? It means to observe the experience for what it is without trying to avoid it. In mindfulness, we never avoid what can create uh, stress, because if we avoid something in terms of um, just become blind about the problems itself will increase and will create more pressure on ourselves. So we never say to avoid it or to suppress it, but just to welcome it and observe what is the issue. Or uh, for example, if we become upset and angry for something, we don't leave the anger become uh, become uh, we say take the power on us, but we just can observe this anger, name it, and and consider that is part of our life. So just come back about talking about patience. It allows us to accept any moment as it is. So everything happens in its own time. This is what we have to remember. We have to be patient. Don't rush, don't put pressure on something that we wanted to happen in that time and in that way. So just wait for the normal process that starts and ends in a way. Acceptance, it means having a clear vision of how things are without judgments. And again, we're talking about judge something. So we take every moment as it comes, and we accept it for what it is. We cannot change it. So we don't put any prejudice or ideas in what is happening. We just observe what is happening. And this is not resignation, as someone told me when we spoke about accepting, but it's different. It to accept something in the way it is just make us able to manage our life. We start from the characteristic of the present circumstances. We take it for what it is, for what they are. In this way, we are able to block any um, negative thoughts, any spiral of negative thoughts, because you know we cannot change the reality. We can just change the way we face the reality. So, and these three first um, pillars of mindfulness are very helpful if we start to practice, to put it in our life, to practice them. So, in this way, we can uh, more easily to understand how it works. And to be honest, it's not easy at the beginning. It's quite difficult because our mind is set in a way, but it's also true that our body is plastic. So we can we can change things, but only through the practice. It's very important to practice, and I can understand, as it happened to me first, that we it's quite difficult to practice every day, but we can do it during the week. We can decide how long it can take. Sometimes it takes just 5 minutes, and then we can increase time. So I will strongly suggest to you to start this 60 minutes of exercise of to disconnect all the media, the social media, um, from your daily routine. And also, when you do it, you can also write down on your mindfulness diary what you've noticed. It if you think that you want to change some of your routine, if there is something that amazed you because you observed some, I don't know, some object that is present in the room that you have never noticed it because you were too focused on your activity, more than once activities. So before leaving you, I want I would like to give you homework. So this from my background as being a teacher. So it's a quite important homework because, let's say, exercise is better, because it will help you to move out from the autopilot, and also it will help you to be aware of your autopilot, and it also will help you to understand the process of your mind. So you can do this exercise in two different ways. One is to set up an alarm on your phone at different time of the day, so you can choose it randomly. But if the phone does not work too much with you, you can put some signs in the room or at home or in your workplace. So what's happening is that when the ring sound of your phone, the alarm of your phone, sorry, when the alarm of your phone is on, then, or you can see the sign in your room or wherever you put them. So you stop what are you doing, and at this point, you ask to yourself, what are you thinking and what are you doing? So it's very important. It will you will be surprised about it. And what you can do is take note of it as well. So you can write on your paper the day, the date, the hour, the time, and then you put on a column what are you doing, and then what are you taking. So you can ask yourself if you are paying attention on what are you doing at the moment, and if you are, for example, living in the present, or maybe you are focusing on something that happened in the past, or you're thinking about something that can happen maybe in the future. So bear in mind that when we think about it, about the future, especially we put the if something happen. Just remember that if something happen, and this if will give you a lot of stress and pressure. So you just need to consider that the future is something that we cannot predict. Even if you need to project something, this is quite different. And the past is something that can affect us. And tomorrow we will see also another pillar of mindfulness to understand a little bit more how the past affects our present and how we behave on the basis of what happened to us. So at this point, I will say that we finish our first webinar, and I give you some basic notions about it. Tomorrow we will talk about a little bit more about the 7 pillars of mindfulness. We will do a meditation, which it means that we need a quiet place tomorrow, because the meditation will last like 10-15 minutes, but we need just to be in silent, and we need to be connected with ourselves. So if there is any comment or any question, you can write to me on my YouTube account, or also on info@olgamanganelli.com, and I will answer at all your questions. Thank you so much for having attended this webinar, and see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a good evening.